So you're thinking about making the move to San Diego County and you're looking for the most luxurious neighborhoods, the nicest of the nice. And in this video, we're going to explore 4 neighborhoods, 4 communities that are top of the line luxury, not just for San Diego County, not just for Southern California, but for anywhere in the country. These would be considered some of the best, nicest, fanciest neighborhoods anywhere. So if that's what you're looking for and you want to explore, stick with me because we're going to get after it right now. Now, before we jump in, I have full feature videos on these communities right here on the channel. So if you want to see the entire everything there is about these communities, make sure you find that on the channel. But what I'm going to do is make sure to cover proximity to the airport, proximity to the beach, median house price, and the basics of what's good and bad living in any one of these neighborhoods. So with that, let's jump in. We're going to kick this off in Rancho Santa Fe, located about 30 minutes from the airport and about 15 minutes from the beach. If you're in central to west Rancho Santa Fe, it can also get more of 20 plus minute drive to the beach in East Rancho Santa Fe. The general feel, look, and lifestyle of Rancho Santa Fe is high-end, think kind of old money. It has more of an old world feel to it in some respects. There was a lot of Tuscan architecture that got done in the 2004, 5, 6, 7 construction boom. Though today's world, you see a lot of modern Spanish construction in some of the homes that have been built, say, since 2016 or so, and more recent. Now, when thinking about Rancho Santa Fe, it is definitely dominated by 2 things. One is golf clubs, the other is horses. The ranch is known as the #1 equestrian community in San Diego County, though of course, high-priced equestrian community. If you're looking for equestrian at more modest prices, there are options. Make sure you ask us in the comments. We respond to all of them. You can also see the first pinned comment, and there's various ways to reach out to me, and we will respond 100% of the time to your questions. But the equestrian trails that weave their way in through all of Rancho Santa Fe, especially the heart of it, which is called the Covenant, are magnificent. It is really a look and feel that if you're driving through the majority of San Diego and then you get to the ranch, you just say to yourself like, whoa, where am I? Something's different about this place. And it might very well remind you of a different region entirely. It might remind you of somewhere in the Midwest or maybe somewhere on the East Coast with its abundance of trees and just lush landscape. In fact, the lot sizes, the majority of the lot sizes in Rancho Santa Fe exceed 2 acres, with many of those 2-acre plus homes having horses right on property. Now, of course, there's an abundance of homes that do not have horses, so if you're not a horse person, that's fine. But if you're like me and you can appreciate that there's just nature and space, all while in an extremely central location, way west of the 15, and really not far from the ocean, but with so much space. And that's really one of the things that drives price. In fact, the median home price in Rancho Santa Fe, homes sold over the last 12 months, $4.2 million in the ranch. And sometimes, before you react to that, I want to just tell you that sometimes those homes, those $4 million homes, those $3 million homes, even some of the 5s and 6s, are in need of remodeling. If you do not want to remodel, if you want something that looks brand new, if you want it to be just dialed in with modern amenities, modern construction, and not kind of the old Tuscan style, now you're looking typically upwards of $6 million plus, and that plus can very well reach into the $15, $17 million range, even beyond. In fact, the highest price sale in Rancho Santa Fe this year exceeded $20 million. All that land has positives and negatives also to it. There's, of course, the space you get. At the same time, if you're looking for something that has more of a community feel, a neighborhood, in Rancho Santa Fe, specifically in the Covenant, where the lots are all in excess of 2 acres, you are going to have neighbors that oftentimes you can't see. There's acres separating you because maybe 1 or 2 of your acres, 1 or 2 of theirs by the time you get to the next home. So it is more of an isolated living situation in terms of, right, it's not a Chuck E. Cheese, what am I saying here? It's not a trick or treat type of neighborhood, but it has a ton of community in that people will gather in Rancho Santa Fe Village, which anchors Rancho Santa Fe. It is gorgeous, quaint, just gives you, just has really all the vibes of a beautiful little small town environment. So definitely check out the Village in Rancho Santa Fe. Village, which is anchored by the Rancho Santa Fe Inn. but also there's golf courses galore like we told you about, or like I told you about earlier. So there's a lot of social activity, community building that takes place around the golf courses, most notably the Bridges Golf Course, Rancho Santa Fe Golf Club, of course. Though to be a member of Rancho Santa Fe Golf Club, you actually have to live in the Covenant, which is the non-gated part area of Rancho Santa Fe. And then there's gated communities like Fairbanks Ranch, for example. If you live in Fairbanks Ranch, you cannot be a member at Rancho Santa Fe Golf Club. You have to be a resident of the Covenant. Now, why would you care? Why would you want to be a member of something like Rancho Santa Fe Golf Club? Well, because people like Phil Mickelson are members of Rancho Santa Fe Golf Club. It's where the original Pro-Am started by Bing Crosby. So it is an amazing club, but again, you have to live in that particular area. But if you don't, like I was saying, you have the Bridges, you have the Farms, and then you have more golf courses such as the Crosby, Santa Luz, just in the periphery. So definitely a golfer's paradise, a horse lover's paradise, or just someone that wants space. It's going to be for you. If you want the neighbor next door, if you want, that walkability, it's probably maybe not going to cut it. So that would be definitely the major downside to it. And even though it does have its proximity to the beach, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, depending on where you are in the ranch, it certainly doesn't have beachy vibes. It is much more of a kind of forested type of environment with heavy amounts of eucalyptus trees. Finally, one of the negatives you should know about, it is a fire hazard area, which means your property insurance may be more expensive. All right, we're gonna jump over to the beach and go visit La Jolla. La Jolla, of course, being one of the most recognized names in San Diego County neighborhoods, probably recognized across the country, and for good reason. It is absolutely beautiful. So if you're looking for luxury and sunshine and beach, La Jolla might very well be for you. But let's take a quick visit here with the location. It is located about 20 minutes from the airport. And frankly, if you're in an area of La Jolla, like La Jolla Shores, you could be down there in as little as 15 minutes. And boom, you're at the airport, off and flying, or downtown having dinner or whatever, all that's to offer down there. So it's a great location if you're going south. But if you're going north, you have to note, I just want to make sure you're aware that there is about a 10-minute delay that you'll experience because there's actually no direct freeway access to go north. There's only direct freeway access to go south if you're trying to jump on the 5 in La Jolla. So if your life takes place, say, in Carmel Valley or Carlsbad, Del Mar, anywhere north, just know that that's a little bit more cumbersome than the very quick, super easy in and out if you go south of La Jolla. Now, let's get off that topic and just jump over to proximity to the beach. Well, how about zero? Right there on the beach, there's various different beaches there, but the two most popular, probably number one in San Diego County also in terms of popularity, is La Jolla Shores. And then you have Windansea Beach, which is gorgeous and also has a different flair, a different feel than most beaches, kind of set up along these cliffs that aren't so high. And it just has this really kind of cool neighborhood feel to it. You'll see less tourists in Windansea, but La Jolla Shores, one of the friendliest beaches for families, big, just large amounts of sand and really well watched over by the lifeguards. Now, when you go, please make sure they're there. But generally speaking, that would be true. Now, the overall, what's there to do? The vibe of La Jolla? Well, there's La Jolla Village, which is one of the best walkable neighborhoods to be in all of San Diego. It's awesome with its shops, its restaurants, its bar. I mean, it is a very common thing that on a weekend, my family, we might be down there grabbing a coffee, a scone, a breakfast, just walking around, enjoying it. It's awesome. You have the tide pools. You have museums, beautiful museums, art galleries everywhere. And it's generally just has this upscale feel. You'll notice that people just seem a little more beautiful in La Jolla. They're just a little bit more done up. Maybe the negative to it, if you're like me, you're also going to see a lot more labels, right? You're going to see the, Pradas and the good. You're going to see all that, but that's La Jolla. You could say that downtown La Jolla is kind of like the Rodeo Drive of San Diego, if San Diego even has one. Now, before I jump off of what to do in La Jolla, I want to mention two things because they're two of my favorite things. One is for the kids, the Birch Aquarium is magnificent. So make sure that you visit Birch Aquarium if you have little ones, or if you're just an ocean lover, maybe you're a marine biologist. So go and visit the Birch Aquarium. And my favorite, maybe spot in all of San Diego County. Now look, there's more glamorous spots. There's more talked about spots. But one of my favorite places to just go take in the beauty that is Mother Nature, that is San Diego County, is the glider port. the glider port is just an amazing place. And the way I would encourage you to use the glider port, go get yourself some food, bring it over to the glider port and just sit. Maybe order a coffee. And by the way, you can order food there depending on what time you're at. They have a little shop. But essentially, it's set up on these cliffs and you are just looking over it is beautiful. You're looking over the ocean. You're looking at these paragliders that are just flying around all over, and it is peaceful. It's beautiful. Hopefully we could give you some footage on that. One more thing. Look, it's La Jolla, so I'm going to have to throw one more in before I jump off of this. Torrey Pines. So the most recognized name in golf in San Diego County, and of course a tour stop on the professional golf tour. So Torrey Pines is indeed located in La Jolla. All right, let's talk price. If you're going to live in La Jolla, if you want this lifestyle, you are looking at right now $3.16 million. Okay, so almost $3.2 million for the median price. So of course that means there are homes much higher, homes that sell in the tens and 15 million and so on. And there's homes, of course, that sell for less. But median price, you're going to be in for about $3.2 million. And you still might need a little bit of remodel work on that house. Don't expect it to be perfect. And if it is perfect, then you could expect it to be small. Now, my favorite and least favorite thing about La Jolla. Well, let's see. My favorite thing about La Jolla is probably just how much there is to do. There's a lot. You have everything from a world-class golf course to the beaches, and just the walkability of La Jolla Village is wonderful. And we haven't even talked about La Jolla Shores. We talked about the beach La Jolla Shores, but that also has its shopping area, its food, and its restaurants. And we haven't even mentioned the words Bird Rock, which is a beautiful strip that connects La Jolla down to Pacific Beach, and also full of just little shops and galleries and it has a lot to do. Now, that's a good thing that it has a lot to do, and there are a fair amount of businesses there also. The reason it's a good thing and there's a lot to do there is because it is, on the flip side, right, the negative, my least favorite thing about La Jolla, it's just hard to get in and out of. It is, especially, look, if you live near La Jolla Shores end of La Jolla, which is the north end of La Jolla, and you're going to be traveling south on a day-to-day basis, maybe you work downtown, maybe you have no access issues, you're good. But otherwise, it can be a tough place to just come in and out. And sometimes it'll get log jammed at rush hour. And it's just the type of place where, I tell people, like, if you live there, work there, stay there, and that's like your life there, it is going to be awesome. That if you're schlepping the kids up and down the county to different parts and, sports and all that, it may or may not be something that's for you. So that's just something to consider. Now, let's take a quick look at La Jolla's rival city, Del Mar. So Del Mar can definitely not be left off this video in terms of most luxurious neighborhoods in San Diego County. In fact, you might argue more luxurious than La Jolla, only because Del Mar's a lot smaller. And what Del Mar has is a more consistently high end. La Jolla is a fairly large area. It has its condos and it has just other, more accessible areas, and it has more strip malls, right? So La Jolla kind of is being a bigger place, has a more variety. Del Mar is luxurious through and through. Now, location-wise, you're talking 5, 6, 7 minutes up the freeway from La Jolla. In fact, it's one beach up from La Jolla. But by the time you get to downtown Del Mar, you're going to have traveled for, call it 7 minutes. Distance to the beach, well, again, 0. It's literally there. And in my opinion, Del Mar being maybe my favorite beach in San Diego County. In fact, you know that if you watch the Del Mar episode of right here, right on this channel at San Diego Neighborhoods, which, by the way, let me just interrupt really quickly. Go ahead, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and make sure that you are with us so that you know of all changing market conditions in San Diego County, plus that you get information like that being shared here. So make sure you subscribe, tap the bell for notifications, and tap the other thing too. All right, so what is there to do in Del Mar? First, it should be mentioned it is quieter than La Jolla, okay? Maybe because it's a little more high-end. It has its anchor bar, of course, in downtown Del Mar called Jimmy O's. It's been a staple. It's been there forever. And certainly, yes, your memory of Del Mar, if you've been there, might be commotion if you were there during the races. Okay, so we have the Del Mar horse races that take place there on the track. It is an awesome experience. It goes off all summer. Now there's a second season for racing and in what used to be called the off season. And so there is more activity certainly around then, but for the most part, it is a quieter place than La Jolla. As far as what anchors the community on a 365 days a year basis would be the plaza. The Del Mar Plaza is iconic. It has restaurants that are just typically going to be really awesome. It has this wine terrace up top, and people will gather and watch the sunsets, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful place. Definitely would encourage you, whether you make Del Mar your home or not, make sure you go spend time at the Del Mar Plaza. Walk down, maybe grab a dinner over at Spica, maybe grab a slice of pizza, not on your Spica night, but on a different night or a different day at the pizza shop, Del Mar Pizza, which is right there. Walk down to the beach, go get your surf, and then just jump over next door to Jake's and grab an after surf, maybe meal or drink. It is beautiful. You'll enjoy it, but Del Mar is small. So with that comes less real estate. So even though the Del Mar isn't La Jolla, because it has less real estate, there's less supply. Check this out. Median price point's actually the same as La Jolla's, $3.2 million for a single family home. Now, my favorite and least favorite thing about Del Mar. Well, starting with the positive, my favorite thing about Del Mar is you have, again, these beautiful beaches, but so much easier to access. You just kind of get in, you get out, you have freeway access, whether you're coming over to the 5 off of Del Mar Heights Road, whether you're just shooting down the 101, whether you're going to go north and get out through Via de la Valle and the racetrack. There's just, for such a small area, there's a few different ways in and out, and so it just makes it easier. I like that about Del Mar. But my least favorite thing about Del Mar is that, yes, the plaza is legendary. It's beautiful. You can have one of the best nights there, but it's going to get, it gets a little old. If I was living in La Jolla, for example, I could spend 3 months in La Jolla and not leave. I don't think that would be possible in Del Mar. Just too small, just not enough to do, though very high-end, very classy. You're going to enjoy it. Go check it out. By the way, fun fact, Tony Robbins, his famed castle was in Del Mar. We're going to finish up with Coronado. Now, Coronado is a special place. You know that the moment you cross over the bridge. So I'm sure you've seen the Coronado Bridge. You pop down into what most people think is an island, but is actually connected by something called the Silver Strand down to Imperial Beach. But it is certainly just its own little world, and it is high-end, it is desirable, and there are so many people trying to get into Coronado, homes being remodeled, that in fact, I'm just going to jump over here. Median price. I have a surprise for you, $3.2 million. So Del Mar, La Jolla, Coronado, neck to neck on median price. Distance to the airport's about 17 minutes. It's actually south of the airport, south of downtown. Everything else we've been talking about today is north of downtown, but Coronado is again south. And as far as proximity to the beach, well, again, 0, because it's on the beach. You know the Hotel Del. And if you don't, it's that iconic Coronado building with the red tile roofing and the Hotel Del being set right on the beach in Coronado. And it is just huge beach. Huge, huge, huge. There can be hundreds of people there. You're going to have space. So from that point of view, it's luxurious. From a real estate point of view, it's luxurious. Now, something kind of cool about Coronado real estate also is you will find homes, not many of them, but you will find homes dating back to the 1800s there. Now, if you're from some parts of the country, I might be like, so what? But in San Diego, that's ancient. So just kind of a fun thing. Some of the environment or just the energy, the vibes of Coronado, you will definitely have a small town feel. It's flat, which is super cool because San Diego is mostly very hilly. And so because it's so flat, you'll see people biking and going, and it just has like an old America kind of 1950s feel to it. The way I would imagine the 50s to be. It's that white picket fence type feel, kind of an all-American environment. In fact, maybe the most well-known military bases in San Diego, Top Gun, right there in Coronado. And so it just has this American kind of really cool patriotic vibe, and I love it. So what's my favorite thing and least favorite thing about Coronado? This one's easy. My favorite thing about Coronado is that when I'm there, I feel like I'm on vacation. In fact, people in San Diego will take staycations in Coronado because it just gives you, again, this feeling that's just totally different from everything else. It gives you a getaway feeling, just the fact that you go over the bridge, drop down into Coronado. You just feel like, hey, I've gone somewhere else. I can leave my worries behind. So that vacation feel, even if you're just going for brunch and leaving, you'll feel like you had a little mini vacation. I love that. The negative to Coronado is it certainly is touristy. You'll feel it. Okay, everywhere else, yeah, there's tourists in Del Mar and in La Jolla. There's really none in Rancho Santa Fe. That's more of a bedroom community. But there is definitely a heavier tourist feel in Coronado. And there's a ton of towers, condo towers, that are mostly second homes in Coronado. So you just have more of that feel to it. Now, if that doesn't bother you, great, because there's not a lot much else that will. You're going to see some Arizona license plates. Get used to it. That's also just San Diego in the summer. But if you can look past the tourists and you don't mind someone walking around with a map bumping into you every now and then you're going to love the way that thing makes you feel like you're on vacation too, and you won't blame them for being on one. So those are the 4 most luxurious communities in San Diego County. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe and tap that bell for notifications. And by the way, if you're making a move to San Diego or within San Diego, if you're already here, anytime, it could be in 9 days, 9 months, 9 years, I don't care. I just love connecting with people just like you every single day that are sending text messages, phone calls, emails. And if you go to the first comment, I've given you several ways to communicate with me, and I always respond. Make sure you drop your comments also here, and we'll see you on the next video.